So there we can see the standings after the Blitz round 1, and it's now a tie between Magnus, Carlsen and Wei Yi, both of these players on 13 points. But Praggnanadhaa, with his victory, creeps up the standings. He's in 3rd place, but this time with 11 points. Youngster Duda, Shevchenko on 9 points. It's a tale of resourcefulness, yeah.
Tell us about the pairings for the very next round that's coming up really, really fast.
Yes, and we see Gukash will have the white pieces against his countrymate Arjun Eragaisi. Shevchenko plays Anish Giri. Praggnanadhaa, this time is our marquee matchup, is facing Magnus Carlsen with the white pieces, and Nordibek Abdusattarov will be playing Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Wei Yi plays Vincent Keimer.
That will be our backup game. By the way, keep in mind that in this tournament, there are a number of players who are wild cards.
Yes.
But we also have tour players.
Yes.
Let's just distinguish between them. Tour players are going to play in all of the classical chess
events. That's right. The 4 tour participants will be playing in both classical events and 2 out of the 3 rapid and blitz events. And here you can see our roster. And we also see that it's Anish Giri, Praggnanadhaa, Gukash, and also Nordibek Abdusattarov, who are 4 tour participants in this particular lineup.
We have those world rankings as we get ready for this round 2, and the play is underway. Again, our marquee game will be between Pragg and Magnus. And
already I'm jumping for joy because Praggnanadhaa has opened with e4 and Magnus Carlsen has played my beloved, or our beloved, Carlsen.
Yes, so, and Wei Yi versus Vincent will be our backup. So, captures on d5, a very sedate play by Pragg. It kind of shows that he doesn't have any preparation for the Caro, because this is not a dangerous line. It's not.
Everyone plays it these days,
no,
yes,
it's not.
Literally.
It's not. I mean, there's nothing.
It's literally the most popular response to the Carlsen over all levels.
It's terrible. No, easy.
Oh, but did you see Magnus played e6?
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the move Queen c7 there, by the way. But this is also perfectly fine. Remember, in the opening, you need just 3 goals. Your fair share of the center, good development, safety for your king. And if you look at the position after, for example, bishop d7, I'm just put a move on the board, you'll see that black's king is safe.
Yeah.
He's safe. He's got pretty good control of the center. I mean, he's got an extra pawn in the center. There's a c3 versus e6. That's the imbalance, right?
Yeah.
And, well, I won't say he's got great development. It's okay, the knight on e7, bishop on d7. The move f7, f6, it's a prelude. He wants to play rook to e8 and e5.
Right.
So you're telling me that this is what white is aspiring for?
You know, believe it or not, Yasser, these days everyone is playing this. I get it all the time. And this is a really trendy idea that's kind of developed over the last few years. And basically white wants to just expand as much as possible on the queen side and say, I got extra space.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've played thousands of games with the Caro and French and Perks, and these variations never frightened me whatsoever. I really felt I was more than even Steven. A4, okay, kind of a prelude. What you going to do? Play A5, B5? Magnus says, I don't know what you're driving at, young man, but you're leaving a backward pawn on c3.
So usually, White's whole idea is actually to secure the c5 square for a piece. So usually they'll be going a5. This is with the pawn on b7, and then going knight to b3, then c5, and then they're saying, ha, come and get me now. I've got a nice clamp on the queen side. And then we see Praggnanadhaa lift the rook up to e3.
Rook to e3. Okay, that for me is basically saying I kind of want to defend this pawn. At the same time, I mean,
it's very provocative because e5 is very tempting.
And more than tempting. That's what Magnus has been playing for. I think there's a trick in the position. e5 immediately. There is this nasty little trick. Check this one out.
Nice c4, yeah.
What? I thought that, no, you can't take because that's a discover check on your queen. So that is one thing that when you time the move e5, you don't want to see this type of a tactic. Bishop d7 to e8. I like this move.
Do you think the bishop is going to f7 or perhaps even going to g6?
It doesn't matter, actually, whether it be g6 or it be h5. They're more active squares than the bishop on d7. If you force me to, yes, I wanted to say, if you play queen e1 and you force me to put the bishop on f7, I think the bishop is actually more flexible on f7 than d7, as, again, at a certain moment, I will deal with the e6 pawn, and I'll have something going on the queen side. Like you said, a5, hoping that you please take the pawn so that you can get your knight, you'll go b5, of course, but then you can get your knight comfy to c5. Knight f5, and that's Magnus Carlsen at his provocative best. He said, excuse me, I would like to interrupt your grand designs on the queen side. I'm going to play knight f5 and tickle your rook. What do you say? Would you take it?
Well, the alternative is just stepping back with the rook to e2.
That is the alternative.
And that looks clunky as anything. Right, put the rook on e2 and then what? Whereas the knight on f5 is suddenly a fantastic piece.
It is, and it's a really, really provocative challenge. You can capture it and double the pawns, but then at the end you go, okay, where's the dynamic play in the position thereafter?
Right.
Not really there. Rook came back to e2. I would expect something like rook to e8, defending the pawn on e6, because he would then play bishop g6 or bishop h5, as mentioned before. Are the clocks a factor yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Magnus Carlsen with 3 minutes and 11 seconds, but Praggnanadhaa, he is the one lagging a little bit in time, just under 2.5 minutes.
Love this move, knight e7, by the way.
Knight e7, beautiful move. Also, the knight is perhaps thinking about rerouting to g6 and provoking some kind of light square weakness, but he simply steps back with the queen.
Queen c7, that indicates to me that
he wants the knight on d6.
Yes, he wants to try knight to d6, but I actually liked your idea of knight to g6 to f4 instead of the move queen d6. I thought the queen was fine on d6, but he has played that, and again, you were saying Prague is the one.
Prague now under 2 minutes.
On the
slipping
clock.
away from him. But also, I do like queen d7 because knight d6 is a terrifying move. It's terrifying in a positional level. Knight d6.
Knight d6.
Because the knight is getting ready to jump into outposts. Knight c4. Maybe even knight to e4.
Well.
And how are you ever going to dislodge a knight like that? And suddenly, it looks like the exchange variation against the Caro-Kann is toothless.
Toothless. In fact, probably your best move in this position, which is illegal according to the FIDE regulations, is to drop back with a pawn, b4, b2. And after all, it was Prague who created the backward pawn on c3, suffering a little. Rook a6 is trying to say, this pawn is meaningful, let me attack it.
Maybe now it's time just to go all in on the A line. Double up the rooks. Okay, so h4.
I don't see h5 as being a threat. That looks like an overly enthusiastic, I want to say. I'd bring the rook on f8 into play. Rook
he's
to
getting ready for
c8. He played rook to e8. Okay, a clear indication that Magnus wants to play with his extra central pawn. He wants to play for e5. Knight f5, also a little bit of a surprise move. I would have thought that if you want to play for e5, you'd probably want to play knight to c6 and e5. Magnus played knight to f5.
Yeah, but he's doing some beautiful things, like knight. Okay, so we see the rook come to a7, and this is what I like about Magnus. He doesn't care about pawn structure. Instead, it's all about piece harmony, getting his pieces onto good squares.
He's certainly done that, and the move rook on a8, there's a pin. And Magnus, after this move rook a8, is really being invited to play knight to e4, locking things up. Blessings, a good cough. Nothing like a good cough.
Yep.
Rook to b8.
Every commentator's worst nightmare.
Exactly, exactly. Well, that move, by the way, does come with a threat. It unpins the rook on e8, so it does attack the queen. Queen to a1. Well, Pragg got what he wanted, if I can put it like that. He got control of the a file. Not that I think the a file is that meaningful. I've got moves like f4, followed by bishop to g6. I've also got bishop h5. And who's enjoying the proceeds? We are about to find out. Again, times look...
Okay, well, Praggnanadhaa now under the minute mark.
That's what I was asking.
And that's when it gets critical.
Yeah, that's when it's squeaky bottom time.
Exactly. Well, one of the things I have noticed, I saw it written in a book, that one is in time trouble. You tend to make two types of mistakes. One of them is just simply to recklessly push pawns, which is exactly how we saw Wei Yi lose.
Yep.
Another one is just simply to make simplifications because you can't handle the tension in the position, so you look for clarifications.
And each trade slips a little bit your position.
And
okay, but Magnus spent he spent an incredibly long time to play the move rook takes a8. It was like he was unsure of how to continue. I really don't like the trade. I think that he very much let a lot of his advantage slip away. Funnily enough, you were just about to explain about simplifications, and there we go. I really like the move f4 instead. And now Magnus' advantage is gone. It's just gone. The queen on a7 is simply too good. It's
very active, but on the other hand, White's king is a little bit shaky, and we do see the knight come to d2. And now, this is the move I've been wanting for a long time. The knight jumps into e4. It promptly gets traded off. And just to update you on a result, Arjun Erigaisi has defeated Gukesh.
Big result there. Captures on e4 now. I'm expecting this knight to come back to f1, knight to f1, g3, and knight to e3. And by the way, 16 seconds, a lot of...
15 seconds?
Yeah, a lot of time being spent.
Is it now time to... And in other news, Wei Yi has beaten Vincent Keimer.
Wow, big result. Our tournament leader coming into today bounces back.
Bounces back. And now the big question is, how can Magnus destabilize the White King? Is he going to simply improve his light square bishop, maybe go bishop e8, bishop e5, or is he going to go for broke immediately, initiate chaos with moves like f4?
I'm going to take
20 seconds. h6.
Okay, knight to e3.
Securing king.
Queen to b7, surprise move. I would be so happy to play knight takes e5. Knight to e3 would have...
10 seconds. It's Magnus 15 seconds and ticking down. And
Magnus is
10 seconds. Okay, now he goes for g5.
Wow. Ooh. Okay, that is...
He's rolling the dice.
Yes.
And now the knight comes into e3, targeting f5, bishop to e6, queen c6, attacking the bishop. Now the king comes in, protecting everything.
He's
8 seconds for Praggnanadhaa, and now...
Well timed, c4. Now you get to play d5. That's a tempo against the bishop. Drive it back, and we have queen h6. Pursuing an attack. He's done it.
He's gone for it. The queen will come out to f6. This is a very risky move.
Yeah, he has the attacker's instincts, let's say. Check.
Right, but if the queens get traded off, the position will favor Magnus. And now 5 seconds for Magnus.
Knight takes e4, threatens d6 mate. No, it's not mate, but it threatens d6.
d6. King runs to d7, and another one. Queen. The queen comes in, and the bishop is going to fall off. But the knight on b6.
Take the bishop, take on f5.
Is on freeze, and now he takes...
Take on g5, and after all of the fireworks, Magnus is a pawn down in a queen ending.
And Praggnanadhaa, 5 seconds left, but he can play many, many moves in order to build up the time on the clock. 3 seconds.
Winning g4, let's go.
As long as he finds a nice hiding place for the king.
King G3, just step up the board.
King H4.
Okay, now we've got Queen F5 just to drive the black king a little bit further away.
King is going to come in.
Yep.
He's going to hide on G6.
A good hiding place. Got to find a good hiding place.
Yeah, G5.
That stops Queen H3 ideas.
Queen is safe.
And we're
beautifully, because you can't check on the 6th rank because of white blocking
Prague
the
is
queen.
winning this game. Queen E5, G6.
Oh, the pawn is marching.
Good technique so far. Queen F6, King G8.
Yeah, that looks natural. King G8.
And Queen F7 check.
And actually, this will be Magnus's first loss in the event. He went through the rapid undefeated, and now G7 on the board.
Uh-oh. This is actually
How do you stop
very,
the
very,
queen
very
from promoting?
tricky. The
2
King
seconds,
F8,
1 second
and there he
handshake.
goes.
And
Magnus's
Magnus Carlsen
first loss.
loses to Praggnanadhaa.
Wow. Wow. And Magnus looks very, very disappointed. I must say, the G5 move was a big, big, big sign. Big, big surprise. And in this game, Kirill has won against Anish.